So, funny story about this webtoon, I was kind of avoiding it for the longest time because I thought it was a whole other webtoon, My Beloved Oppressor. That webtoon apparently is very deceptive, with the beginning looking like a complete horror show of a story, and at some point it makes a comeback to become absolute webtoon. I don't know how, but I somehow got the two webtoons mixed up, so the moment I realized they're two different stories... Tears on a Withered Flower is actually relatively new, not even being a year old as of making this video, with it releasing June of last year. This webtoon's basically a little kid, but that hasn't stopped said kid from getting billions of haters. And am I gonna help the kid? No! I'm here to spread further hate. So, without wasting any time, let's find out where all the hate for this comes from. The webtoon starts with our protagonist arriving home and then... Already! She finds out she's been cucked before we find out it's only a nightmare, a recurring nightmare, which... Oh, does that say a lot about her marriage? Times are apparently so tough on her that she had to ask for an advance from her boss, which fortunately he obliges. But the boss asks if her man's working as hard as her, which she then defends him by saying they're both working hard to pay the bills. Hold on, let me guess the plot. She's the one working hard while her husband sits at home and barely supports his struggling wife. Nah, what am I saying? That's such a predictable plot. This webtoon has to be more clever than that. If you guys ever thought you could never make it as a writer, remember, this place exists. Despite being drawn as the most attractive woman in the webtoon, her husband berates her for not having makeup. Wait, hold on. This is her without makeup? The next day arrives, and we find out Haesoo works 3 jobs. Oh my goodness, how does she still look like this? I'm not justifying in any way how he treats his wife, but you think that's why the husband barely supports her? Anytime something mildly annoying happens at a new job, he goes, "I don't need this, my girl has 3 jobs." We just hired you today. We get a little monologue from her talking about how every second of her adult life is spent thinking about work, with the only exception being when she was hospitalized. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. You're telling me this girl took a day off? Utter millennial nonsense. She dares to be lazy instead of hardworking? Oh, but I was sick and at the hospital. Then why don't you work at the hospital? Stop making excuses! A flashback then reveals to us that her husband is the whole reason they're in this financial mess. And despite that, he still says to her, "You are disgusting!" Suddenly, some guy walks into the flower shop. Some guy who all the coworkers recognize, except for Haesoo. Also, some guy who looks like this. How on earth do you not cherish her? She didn't even bat an eye to this guy. The guy also makes sure that Haesoo notices him, as he specifically requests she gives him the flowers. Boy, what an odd request, but there's no way this guy's in any way interested in Haesoo. He's on the webtoon banner? Nah, certainly they meant to put her husband there instead. She's kissing him in these episode thumbnails? They meant to put her whack-ass husband there. Haesoo compares people who live in the spotlight with people who live in the background as extras, thinking Roseboy to be someone in the spotlight while she's an extra. Yes, Haesoo, you're clearly a background character. That's why we're seeing your inner thoughts and why you were given this design. Once she gives the guy his flowers and he leaves, her coworker's freaking out over the idea a guy that attractive might be interested in Haesoo. Haesoo dismisses this idea, thinking there's no way a guy that young could ever find an old lady like her attractive. Her coworker's confused why she thinks so low of herself when she's so beautiful, which causes Haesoo to think people only say that to make an old withered flower like her feel better.
He said it! He said it!
Okay, I see what they're trying to do here. Her marriage has been so terrible that it makes her feel worthless, and it's destroyed her self-esteem. I understand that. The problem here is, look at her! Why would you design her to be the most conventionally attractive lady in the webtoon? Is it impossible to swap these two character designs with each other? I freaking hate it when stories do this. Gosh, this character's so ugly. Not even a mother could love that face. And that character mogs the entire verse! I don't get it. Is it impossible to design a character with self-image doubts to be, you know, average? No, we can't do that. Let's give her something to make sure nobody looks her in the eye. Another scene trying to depict a broken marriage somehow only proves my point. The husband's shocked she still has all her curves, while even commenting on how big her kazangas are. And apparently, she's able to look like this without working out or dieting. Yeah, guys, really chose the best design to be self-conscious. Oh, and she looks like this forever? God, you guys deserve to be rewarded for this. You can take tomorrow off. Actually, no, that's not enough. Take the next week off. Hold on, wait, I'm sorry. I am undervaluing your work. Take the next year off.
Whoa, thank you so much. This is all paid vacation, right?
Just get the hell out of this building. And also, something feels off about these panels. Like, we're not exactly seeing the full picture. I'm not exactly complaining because that saves me a whole bunch of time censoring, but guys, when has doing an 18+ webtoon actually done you guys any good? Then again, I forget the real motivation behind stuff like this. Though, I can't judge, I do a similar thing. The next day arrives, and guess who arrives to the flower shop? Well, with all that exposition of a bad marriage we just got, we're probably gonna see some really romantic scenes. I was still right though, because when he notices how hungry she is, he buys her a sandwich, but Haesoo, not realizing it's a gift, rushes to return it. My headcanon, she knew it was a gift, but out of pure disgust, she returned it anyway. Haesoo doesn't eat peasant food like that, she saves her appetite for real food. Once she realizes this random guy actually gifted her lunch, she comes to the only logical conclusion. He pitied someone that was hungry, and she looks pathetic. How do people read this stuff? Her coworker asks if she's going to pursue Flower Boy, but she immediately shuts down that idea, telling her that she's married. And then we find out she isn't married because the insane debt they're in forced them to divorce. Okay, someone please enlighten me in the comments because I'm genuinely confused. What do they mean they got divorced because of the debt? Seriously, someone help me right now because all I'm thinking is that there's some law in Korea that states, if you're married and get into debt, forget for richer or poorer. It's over! We then check over said husband, Min-cheol, at work. And you know how Haesoo still honors him like he is her husband? Well, I guess that honor only goes one way because Min-cheol is taking full advantage of the fact he's not legally married. Then, when he gets back home, he asks for some money to buy cologne. Cologne that costs $200 cause he can't have anyone thinking he's cheap. Man, that must be some expensive cologne. Why don't we go check in on him buying said cologne? Oh, he really is just buying cologne. Guess I was wrong about... Oh, there she is. And because of the new expenses he's given them, she's added another job onto her workload to pay the bills. Man, she's working herself to death. Her husband doesn't appreciate her. Won't someone save her? Oh my goodness, yes! A boring two-dimensional character to treat her like a queen! Let the Webtoon comment section rejoice! What do you mean a good one? Flower Boy and his friends eat at the Korean barbecue place she works at, but it soon becomes apparent he brought them all there just so he could get a good look at Haesoo. See guys, if you want to get into a woman's heart, this is what you gotta do. Speak to her like a normal human being? Don't be silly. Stalking her everywhere she goes? Congratulations on the marriage. We go back to the happily divorced couple at home, and let me guess, Mincheol degrades Haesoo and Haesoo lets it happen. Just look at yourself. No man would like a woman as pitiful as you. Skip it! Mincheol's at work with the cute coworker, afraid of a bug. When Flower Boy arrives to her job, she makes an active effort to avoid him out of embarrassment, clearly disappointing Flower Boy. But you know he wouldn't just leave it there, and so he waits for her shift to end and umbrella to break to walk her home in the rain. Once again, men, if you ever like a girl and want her to like you back, do what this webtoon teaches you. And if she says no, start following her. And if she starts running, chase her to show how never-ending you're loving. The art's good. And now on to the negatives. You guys already heard my thoughts on how much I hate the "I'm so ugly, but I'm also the prettiest character" trope. They can't afford to draw her as an average woman, right? Otherwise, how else are we gonna lure in the gooners? The plot's also so unbelievably predictable. Her marriage sucks, her not husband cheats on her, she's devastated, and who's there to save the day? Stalker Boy! Speaking of which, I haven't read much of this freaking thing, but I don't need to see this guy's a freaking creep. It's like this: who should Haesoo end up with? Her emotionally, spiritually abusive husband that doesn't appreciate her, or Joe Goldberg? Why are these her options?
Oh, Chalupa, how do you know he's a stalker?
How does he know where else she works? Why did he wait for her till her shift ended? They're freaking strangers to each other. This boring piece of garbage, bro. It straight feels like a Tyler Perry movie without the religion. Just watch that Boondocks clip and you'll know straight away what I mean. Look, this thing isn't the worst thing I've read, obviously, but in my opinion, all the hate for Tears on a Withered Flower is justified. It's boring, glorifies stalking, and uses some really stupid tropes. Anyways, I guess that's gonna wrap up this video. Don't think I forgot! Thank you guys for watching this video in its entirety. If you guys like this video, then please like, hype, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you guys have any video suggestions or anything else you'd like me to read, then please leave it in the comments section below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.